All right, let's talk about something that happens to pretty much every golfer as the years go by. You step up to the ball, you make what feels like a great swing, and the shot just doesn't go as far as it used to. It's frustrating, right? But what if you could actually get some of that distance back? What if a set of irons could help you, well, turn back the clock? That's what we're digging into today with the Mizuno JPX 925s.
Man, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It's that feeling that 7-iron that was your go-to for 150 yards is suddenly coming up short, maybe only flying 135, 140 on a good day. It's a tough pill to swallow for any golfer, and it's the exact dilemma we're going to see if we can solve.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the big problem, that senior golfer's dilemma. Then we'll dive into the tech that promises to get your yards back. After that, we'll look at the real-world performance, talk about the all-important feel of the club, touch on shafts, and wrap it all up with our final verdict.
Okay, first things first, the dilemma. And let's be real, just because our swing speed might be dropping a little, our competitive fire definitely isn't. So what do? Well, you might just need a secret weapon.
And here it is, the Mizuno JPX 925 Hot Metal. Look, we all know Mizuno makes some of the best-looking clubs on the planet, and these are no different. But don't you dare let those clean lines fool you. Underneath that gorgeous exterior, there's some serious horsepower. It's got technology packed inside that's built specifically for those of us who, don't have that Tour Pro swing speed anymore.
So you're probably asking, okay, but how does it actually get me my distance back? Well, this is where we pop the hood and take a look at the engine, because it's not some kind of magic trick. It's all about clever engineering and advanced materials.
The secret sauce here is a material called chromoly. Now, that might sound complicated, but the idea is actually super simple. Think of it like this. The club face is basically a tiny high-tech trampoline for your golf ball. Because when our swing speed isn't what it used to be, we need the club to pick up the slack, right? This chromoly face is super strong, but also really flexible. So it just springs the ball off the face for way more speed. It's doing the hard work for you.
And a huge part of golf is what's going on between your ears. When you stand over the ball, you have to feel like you can hit a good shot. And that's another thing these irons get right. They have this look that just inspires confidence. See how the face is set back just a little bit from the hosel? That's called offset. And what it does is it gives you a split second more time to get that club face square impact. So for anyone who fights that dreaded slice, this is a huge, huge help. And it does it without looking like a shovel.
All right, the technology sounds fantastic on paper. But here's the million-dollar question. Does it actually work out on the course? Let's look at the performance, because at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is what shows up on the scorecard.
Okay, let's cut right to the chase. The bottom line is this. Testers are seeing an average gain of 4 to 6 yards of carry distance. Now stop and think about that for a second. What does that mean for your game? It means instead of pulling a 6-iron, you're hitting a 7-iron. That's not just a small tweak, that is an absolute game changer. But here's a crucial point. Extra distance is totally useless if your ball just skips off the back of the green. And this is where these irons really shine. You can see it here. The JPX 925 gets the ball up in the air, creating a much steeper landing angle. What does that mean? It means your shots come down soft and they stop. You're not watching it roll into the bunker behind the pin. This is what we call a usable distance, the kind that actually lowers your scores.
Okay, time for a little honesty session. How often do you really pure it, right out of the center of the face? I know for me, it's definitely not every time. So the big question is, what happens on all those other shots, the ones that aren't perfect? Well, that's where the magic of forgiveness comes into play.
Now, the engineers call this moment of inertia, or MOI. Sounds fancy, but all it really means is how much the club head fights against twisting when you miss the sweet spot. A club with high MOI is just way more stable. Think of it as a club that refuses to get knocked offline easily. For any amateur golfer, that's a blessing, but especially as we get older and maybe our consistency isn't quite what it once was. So let's play this out. Picture it. You catch one a little bit out on the toe. We've all done it. With your old irons, that ball probably takes a nosedive and ends up short and right in some nasty rough. But with the high MOI in these clubs, the face doesn't twist open nearly as much, and the result? Your ball still flies. It might not be perfect, but it's on the front of the green, and you've got a putter in your hand. It's a total shot saver.
But performance isn't just about the numbers on a launch monitor. It's about how the club feels. It's about confidence, and frankly, it's about comfort, especially for our hands and elbows.
And this is where Mizuno's reputation for amazing feel really comes through. A lot of modern distance irons have that harsh, clicky, almost hollow-sounded impact. You know what I'm talking about. Well, Mizuno engineered special sound ribs inside the head to fine-tune the acoustics. It creates this incredibly soft, solid, almost buttery sensation. And a huge bonus? That design also dampens those nasty vibrations that can really sting your hands and aggravate your elbows and shoulders.
And check this out. There's another piece of forgiveness tech hidden right on the bottom of the club. The sole is designed to be your best friend. It's shaped to glide smoothly through the grass instead of digging in like a shovel. So what does that mean? It means when you hit one a little fat, hitting the ground just before the ball, this sole helps save the shot. It turns a disaster into something playable, and it saves your wrists from that awful jarring feeling.
Now, we've talked a lot about the club head, and it's absolutely fantastic, but a great club head is only half the story. You gotta have the right engine to power it, and that's the shaft.
For senior players, this is probably one of the most important decisions you can make. You've basically got two choices, steel or graphite. Now, steel is what many of us grew up with, but it's heavy, and that weight can actually rob you of club head speed. Graphite, on the other hand, it's a different world. It's so much lighter, which means you can swing faster with the exact same effort. And remember those vibrations we talked about? Graphite eats them for breakfast.
So what's the winning formula? Simple. You want a lightweight graphite shaft, something in that 50 to 65 gram range. And here's the big one, folks. Please do not let your ego get in the way. If a senior flex, sometimes called an A-flex, is right for you, use it. It's not about being weak, it's about being smart. It's designed to give you a higher launch and more distance. End of story. And of course, the absolute best way to dial all this in is to go get a proper fitting. It's non-negotiable if you want to get every last yard out of these clubs.
Okay, so we've looked at the tech, we've seen the performance, we've talked about feel, and we've picked out the right engine. So let's wrap this all up. Is the JPX 925 Hot Metal the right club for you?
When you see the whole set lined up like this, it really hits you. This isn't just a bunch of clubs, it's a complete engineered system. Everything we've talked about, the chromelly face, the MOI, the sole, the sound, it's all working in harmony for one single goal, to help you shoot lower scores and maybe even more importantly, have more fun playing this crazy game.
So let's break it down. Who should be putting these in their bag? Well, if you're a senior golfer and you've noticed your swing speed isn't what it once was, check. If you're trying to get that lost distance back and launch the ball higher so it actually stops on the green, check. If your mishits are costing you too many strokes and you need more forgiveness, absolutely check. Basically, if you're somewhere in that 10 to 20 handicap range and you want all the modern tech without that harsh, clicky feel, then these have your name written all over them.
When you boil it all down, it comes back to this one really powerful idea. These clubs are built to help you fight back against time. All that technology isn't just about hitting a ball farther. It's about giving you your confidence back. It's about making the game fun again. It really might be the closest thing you can find to a fountain of youth that you can fit in your golf bag.